All right, so here we go. Here we go. So we currently have initialized the font. So we've created our font that we're going to type everything in. That's this line. We've created our minutes left in our timer. Again, this 90,000 minus pygame.getTicks divided by 60,000 gives us how many minutes are left. It's either going to be 1 or 0 because we have a 90-second timer, a minute and a half. That's all we need to survive for. So if you want to have a longer game, right? So maybe your difficulty, instead of having 90,000, you have time underscore ticks or whatever, and you have time ticks if they choose hard or medium or easy, that number changes. This number will never need to change because it's a constant, and a constant, it stays constant. Makes sense, right? So we're going to leave that as 90,000. And again, this and that, these two numbers, oops, would never need to get changed. The only one that would be this 90,000. So now what we need to do is we actually need to create what the timer is going to look like. Is it going to be a 0, 1, colon, second, second? Is it going to be minute, minute, slash, second, second? Is it going to be minute, minute, minute? Right? So maybe you have extremely super difficult, insane death mode where you have to survive for 999 minutes, which is like many hours. So this is how, what do you want it to look like? What we're going to do is we're going to have 1 minute, colon, second seconds. So M colon second seconds. And what we're going to call this is we are going to call this survived text. Now, if you want rendering, does anyone know what rendering means? Asher?
It's like where the computer goes through and like kind of draws everything.
Yeah, you can kind of think of it as the computer creating something. No, so far, we have loaded in images that someone has created or that are already created. What we're doing is we are having the computer create something every time we cycle through our code. So well, that's called rendering, and what we do is we render our font. So we're going to go font.render, parentheses. Make sense? So now what we need to do is everything in render has to be a string. So we're going to string, then we're going to have minutes, oops, plus our colon, plus. Now I'm going to hit enter so you guys can see all of the info. You guys do not. You guys don't have to. Now I'm going to do strings seconds. You need true. I'm going to be honest, I can't remember what true does, but you need it or else it won't work.
Like it says something to do with the anti-line.
Something like that. I'm not, again, I can't remember. But you need it. Now the last thing I'm going to do is our color. So we want this to be a deep, deep blue. Okay. So again, for you, if you guys want to put all this on one line, you're welcome to. I am splitting it up so that everyone can see the whole line. Nope. If you print, it shows up in the console, and it slows your game down. We want this to be on screen. So what we're going to do is we are going to create a rectangle. Actually, do you need a rectangle for this? Let's see if we don't need to. Let's see if we can get away with not doing that. So we're going to do screen.blit survived.
But don't you need a size? Or it'll just be on the entire code.
That's what that is. Size of our text is 24. I don't know. I've always done this. Let's see if we can skip a couple lines. And let's say we're gonna put this at 635.5. That's gonna be the top. Actually, let's do 6. Let's do 610. See what that looks like.
It's a bit out of range.
Why is that 70 things long? That's crazy. There you go. You could do 605. That's weird. You don't even need these 2 lines of code.
Which ones?
These 2. What?
Playing this game with a mouse would be a lot easier.
It is.
Mine doesn't go down at all.
Do we need the rectangle or no?
What?
Do we need the rectangle or?
No, this is the text I've always coded, and I thought let's not code it this time, and it seems to work if you do 605. If you do text rect, it really, I mean, I don't really see a difference. So I don't think you need it. But the cool thing we can do is we can always see what the rectangle is creating.
When it gets down to like the 1 minute and 2 seconds, it's just 1:2, 1:02.
Yeah, it doesn't.
So that's because it's a string, you need to pad it. And I can't remember what that code is. It's zfill. That's what it is. Look, Google zfill. Pygame, no. Python string zfill. So this is, if you put a rectangle around what you're doing, this is the rectangle. You don't need these lines. I'll make the executive decision. You don't need those. So instead of creating a rectangle around the string, you don't have to. We're just going to do 605. Because again, the code looks the exact same. So, all right. As for what Luke was talking about, zfill method. I can't remember how to do this. Text.zfill10. That does. Okay, that's what I thought. So what we would do is so right here, string seconds. What we would do is seconds string dot zfill 2. I think it's 2. Let's do 5 just in case. So what this will actually do is it will make sure your string has 5 digits in it. If you have a 5-digit number that's, 10,100, if you have 11111 zfill, it's not going to have any extra zeros. But if you have the number 10, I'll just show it instead of trying to talk to you guys. Is that easier?
It works with 2.
Yeah, but if you have x is 10 and x.zfill and I put 5, oops, I suck. It pads the beginning with zeros. Does that make sense? zfill 5, that means there's going to be 5 digits in this number. But if this is, it doesn't change it. Kevin, you about to fall asleep over there? You are? You want to stand? You want to do some squats or something? I appreciate the honesty. I get. Last night was late. I got coffee. It was a late night last night. But if you're gonna fall asleep, I would appreciate. You can stand up and walk around the class. I don't mind that if that helps wake you up. Yeah, taking off the warm jacket would probably help too. So to fix that problem, you just add this line, and you add this little bit of code zfill2, and no matter what, you'll always have. Oops. zfill2. You'll always have 2 digits representing your seconds. So we'll watch this real quick. Do you guys have any questions so far while we're waiting for this timer to tick down?
I don't know, but mine's not ticking.
Are we allowed to have this as a gameplay element? Even though
No, anything we go over in class doesn't count as a gameplay element. So now we have 0, 5, 0, 4, 0, 3, 0, 2, 0, 1. Then this should turn to a 0. Yeah.
I have a question. Can you go to the timer?
Yeah, it's right here. What I think the other code did, now that I'm sitting here thinking about it, is it created a rectangle around it, so no matter how wide or how much information was in there, the top right corner was always in that spot. So instead of us filling it this way and having it go off screen, it would fill this way and continue to stay on screen, if I had to guess. So yeah, you could do that, but we're not going to. Yes?
how many weeks do we start at now?
Right around Thanksgiving, like the week of Thanksgiving, I think is when I'll officially sign it, and then you have those 2 days, Thanksgiving break, all of December, maybe earlier, depending on how I feel you guys are doing.
So that's like our whole final.
Your whole final is Dakota game, yep.
We do a test or anything, or no?
You have a presentation. The day of the final, you have to come up here and show us your code.
Oh, well, that's not bad.
Wait,
Yeah.
do you show the code and then play the video game?
Yeah.
Do you have to?
And I don't care. And again, I tell you all, I will go over everything you need to know for the final when I finally sign the final. But don't get freaked out if you're not a good presenter. I don't care. I just care. This is my game. This is my code. This is what I added. This is what I did. And then you have to field questions from the class. So it's like, where in your code do you do this? Or if I wanted to change this in your code, where would I go? And that just shows me that you didn't copy and paste something off the internet.
But we can do that if we change it, because that shows that we know how to use Python code.
Yes, but if I go, I want your characters to move faster. Where do you do that? And you're like, like it shows to me that you don't know what you wrote.
Can we label our code?
100%. I encourage you to put as many comments in there as you want. Asher.
It says mine says zfill and it's define or something.
Is it .zfill? Because you don't need to define it at all.
No, oh yeah, no, I had comma zfill.
There you go. Okay, so questions, comments, concerns about this? All right, so the only thing left is sound effects, which I really dislike putting into the game because the music is so annoying, and then I'll hear it in my sleep. So I think that will literally be the last thing I show you guys. So what we're going to do now is we are going to set the stage for the ending of the game. So when we win, this happens, and when we lose, this happens. So what we need to do is we need to go to the very beginning of our loop. What time did we get out of here? 38, 39?
We get out
Jeez, sometimes
What?
my health goes down and
Mhm.
there's no
Maybe
like,
5 minutes.
5 minutes? All right. So what we need to do, running is 1. Our game will always run. It'll always run because running is 1, and while running is 1, our code's gonna run.
Would you say well through?
No. And nowhere in our loop do we redefine run or running. So what we're gonna do is we're going to throw exit code is 0. So if you have different ending states, right? So let's say, what are some possible states in any sort of video game? You have winning. What else do you have? Losing. What else could you have? What? Cheat codes. A tie. Well, typically losing is death. So you could have multiple endings to your game or multiple end states. So if you die with 50% of health, you get this end screen. But if you die with 100, or if you lose with 50% health, you have this end screen. If you lose with 100% health, you have this screen. If you lose with 0% health, you have this screen. If you win with 1% health, you get this screen. So you know what I'm saying? So if you have different endings depending on different situations in your game, you need to have different exit codes. Our default, actually I can't remember what our default is, but you need exit code 0. Need is kind of a relative term, but throw exit code 0 is there. So then what we're going to do is we have 2 different winning or losing scenarios. We have you win and we have you lose. You win if you survive for 1.5 minutes. You lose if your health goes under 0. So what we're going to do is at the very end of our code, way down here, who can give me if statements that we're going to need? So our 2 ending conditions is if we lose our health, if we die, and if we last 90 seconds. So Asher, give me one of them.
if health is smaller than 0 and timer is greater than something.
Less than, I'll say less than or equal to 0, because
Doesn't less than 1 pretty much do the same thing?
no, because what if I had 0.5 health?
Oh, okay.
I'm hanging on by literally the skin of my teeth at 0.5 health.
That sounds painful.
I know. It is. Trust me. Okay, so if my health value is less than or equal to 0, running is 0. That kills the loop. And we define our exit code as 1. So this is we have lost. Now I'm going to throw an elif in here because we only want one of these to happen. Close, not timer. We're going to do pygame.time.get_ticks. And this is saying if the time is greater than 90,000 ticks, so we've gone longer than 90 milliseconds, or 90,000 milliseconds, which is 90 seconds, which is 1.5 minutes, we have, what do you think we need here? Running is 0 because we need the loop to stop. And then exit code equals what? Well, we have it. We lost with exit code 1. So if you want to troll the player, and no matter what they always lose, I guess you could make that 1. It's not the very nicest thing.
Oh, because timer. Oh, you win.
This is we've won, so we'll keep it as 0. We have won.
But you could like troll them like no matter how hard no matter how low.
You could, yeah. And that's it. So tomorrow or whatever, whenever I see you next Friday, I think. We will code our exit screens, and we'll be pretty close to the end. So just a few little tiny, like, how to keep track of accuracy and whatnot. So that's it. Zoomers stay, because I believe, is there community time today? I don't think so.
We had it on Monday.
That's what I thought. So I don't think, let me double check the schedule.
So we go straight to our next class?
Yeah.
I believe so. Let me just double check. Um,